all get in okay. Let's take a lie down just for a few moments for the self-examination. I couldn't think what to call it there. So lie back, release your arms and legs away from your trunk. And we shall begin with this tilt to fold class. Hopefully you'll feel a lengthening to your spine, hip opening, arms strengthening, everything, making our bodies feel a little more spacious. So notice where there might be tightness in your body before we begin. Well, we have already begun. This awareness is everything. So notice your neck and shoulders. And just try to gently give your shoulders a little shrug and settle them a bit closer to the floor. And as you notice your neck and shoulders, also notice the smaller joints of your elbows and wrists. And see if you can let your hands slightly upturn at the palm. Give your fingers a little wiggle. And then let your hands be very relaxed. Notice how your spine feels, the whole length from nape of neck to tailbone. And drop and relax and spread your back muscles. Be aware of your hips and pelvis. And relax all the way down to your feet. Just let them flop. And then notice how the breath is moving in and out through the nostrils, filling the lungs on the inhale, expanding the chest, and emptying completely with each exhale. Now, as you lie on the mat, I'd like you to check that you have space behind you to extend your arms. So take them up and over and maybe adjust your position on your mat. And then bring them back in and bend your knees. And join in with you now. And then bring your feet off the floor, squeezing your navel to your spine and just lightly touching your knees with both hands. So a little squeeze. Touch your knees. And keeping your head and shoulders relaxed, you're going to shoot your legs forward and your arms back. So hug your tummy and extend legs forward, arms back. Your legs don't have to touch the floor. In fact, it's stronger if they don't. And then exhale and touch your knees again. Hug them in, give them a little squeeze. Inhale, making sure your tummy is flat. Shoot the legs forward, the arms back. Exhale, hug the knees. 2 more, please. Lengthen the whole body. And tuck in and squeeze. 1 more. Lengthen. And tuck. And then this time as you tuck, lift up your head and shoulders. Bring shoulders away from the ears, knees towards your nose, nose towards your knees, and squeeze. And then either rock up or roll over to your preferred side and up to sitting. Time to begin more movement. If you could sit comfortably with the soles of your feet together, you can have your hands on the mat behind you or around your ankles, or clasp your hands around your toes and pull your heels towards you. Make sure you don't pull so far that it bothers your knees. Taking a little butterfly to warm up our hips. Breathe in to lift your knees high. Breathe out to press them down. Now get a nice even rhythm. If they don't move very much, your hips are stiff, you can hold your knees and make your legs go up and down. Make them sound a bit too much, but encourage your legs to go up and down from the hip socket. So feeling how the hip rotates to allow the legs to go wider and stretch. Now for your next few, just go a little faster. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Butterfly in flight. Good, couple more. And then come to stillness and cross your ankles or foot in front of foot. Basically just try and sit comfortably. And then make sure you've got room to spread your arms. So you might have to come away from any walls and turn your position on the mat to be able to spread your arms. We want to warm up our shoulders because quite quickly we're going to be working on arm strength in the routine. So as you sit, make sure you're upright in your torso, navel to spine, chest open, shoulders down. And then as you inhale, bring the arms out and up to touch if possible, unless that bothers your neck. And then exhale, push them away, palms face down, tap the floor. Palms face up as you inhale to bring the arms up to tap the hands together. And then push the palms away, exhale, fingertips to the earth. Twice more, inhale, wide and full, arching up. Exhale, push out and down. One more time, inhale, lift up to tap. Exhale, out and down. Now this time you'll have to make sure you've got room behind you as well, so you might have to come away from any wall a little bit. And you're going to push your arms behind you and then take them up, forward and down. Nice big circles, that's it. We want to make sure the shoulder area is really mobile to help us achieve some of the poses. And just basically warm as well. Muscles are warm. The next time they come forward, just pause. And then from the forward touch, bring them up in front of you at shoulder width. Span them out and touch the floor behind you. Bring them forward again. Push up, round, back. Try to keep your neck neutral. So look straight ahead. Up. Keep your head up. Chin off the chest. And again, up. And round. Fix your gaze to help you keep your chin neutral. Let's try one more. And release. Now sweep your arms up to shoulder height and then give yourself a really big hug. It doesn't matter which arm's on top, but notice which arm's on top. Take them open and swap. Push back and hug. Push open and back and hug, changing the direction each time. Press open and hug, press open and hug. Last one, press open and give yourself the biggest hug and hold it. Seemingly yesterday was National Hugging Day. So if you didn't get a hug yesterday, make sure you're giving yourself an extra big hug today. As you hold your shoulders, just take a little twisty movement around your waist, turning the torso right and left. How much can it move? And then release. So we're beginning, as we often do now in our next move, on our hands and knees in cow-cat pose. And I really want you to think about the rocking of your pelvis, not just pushing your head forward and tucking your chin in, although that does happen, the expansion of the chin lifting, the chest expanding, but really thinking about how the whole hip and pelvis and lower back is moving. So please come onto your hands and knees. Pay strong attention to your tilt. Keeping your shoulders nice and healthy as well. So make sure your shoulders are slightly shrugged back away from your ears. Your knees and feet are planted. Draw in your navel lightly and your pelvic floor lifts up. Are you ready? Breathe out before you move. And inhaling, really push your bottom out and up. Belly drops, chest expands forward, chin lifts, shoulders back. Exhale, tuck your tail between your legs, pull up your navel, tuck your chin and spread your shoulder blades. Little faster, but not much. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, tuck. Keep going, rocking your pelvis. Nice. Yes. Good. Oh, welcome, Francis. We have someone else online. Welcome, everyone. So this cow-cat, keep that motion in mind in other poses where we're talking about the pelvis tilting. So think of the tilt as the hollowness of your lower back, the dropping of your belly, and the tuck when you round your back and pull the tailbone between your legs. Now from here, come to neutral. Bring your forearms down into the floor. And I'd like you to try and keep your hands as wide as your elbows and your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Bring your head to look between your hands. Bring your gaze between your hands. Pull up on your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. Draw your navel in and reach your legs back without moving your shoulders back. Forearm plank. Hug your tummy. Hug your thigh muscles, your front thighs up into the bones. Wrap all the muscles of your thighs around your thigh bones. And draw the upper inner thighs slightly closer together. Squeeze everything. Keeping a soft expression in your eyes, a relaxed mouth. And then take your knees down. Come all the way up to kneeling, dragging your arms along the floor. And then just lift and shrug and circle your shoulders. This next move is fairly strong. Do what you can. And number one, make sure you keep your tummy pulled in, okay? When we do this, there's going to be a side-to-side movement in the torso. So to keep safe, you must really draw your pelvic floor up and your navel in at all times. Have a little look from forearm plank. Now, if it feels too difficult, like it's just impossible, then you could come down onto your knees. But we're going to try to be in our forearm plank, squeezing our tummy, leaning to the left a little. We straighten the right arm. Right hand goes where the right elbow was. Leaning on to the right, we straighten the left arm. Going down to the right, forearm down, and then down to forearm plank. We're going to try that several times. So be careful with that side-to-side rocking. You ready? Forearms down, shoulders back from the ears, hug your belly, reach out your legs. Squeeze your thighs, press your heels back, keep the gaze forward slightly. Here we go. Right hand where right elbow was, straighten right arm. Left arm up to plank. Right arm down, left arm down. Starting with the left hand where left elbow was, right hand, plank. Left elbow down, right elbow down. Again, right arm, left arm. Right arm down, left arm down. Left arm straight, right arm straight. Left arm down, right arm down, knees down, sit up on your knees and shrug your shoulders. Whoa, feeling the heat in the shoulders and the core already. We've just started. Listen, it gets harder. Only if possible, you're going to try to do that simultaneous. Both arms straighten, both arms go back down. It's a little bit different though, because we're moving up into downward facing dog to do that. So I don't think you need a demonstration, you'll manage to follow me. But if it's too difficult, come back to forearm plank and repeat the steps, yeah? That will work. So this time, spreading the fingers wide, big spaces between each finger, shoulders over wrists, legs out to full plank, and then lift your hips to downward facing dog. Drop your pelvic floor, pull in your navel, look forward between your thumbs, and take both elbows down. Try not to collapse. Squeeze your tummy, Straighten the arms together if you can. Both down, drop. Both up, lift. One more. Both down, tuck in. Both up. Oh, that was one at a time on the last one for me. And you're back in your downward facing dog. Now drop your head and look between your feet. The arm strengthening has begun. We've warmed up our arms, our core. That's tricky. And now come all the way down to your knees. Stand up on your knees. Or if you can sit in your heels, sit down. But if that's too intense on your ankles, etc., then stay standing up. It really doesn't matter. The arms are important, not the legs, okay? And all I'd like you to do is bring your arms out as if you're in plank. So wrists are flexed, palms are facing forward to your wall. And then pull your elbows into your ribs and press them back behind you. So your thumbs are facing towards your chest, but more towards your ribs. Stretch your arms forward. Pull them back, shoulders down. Stretch them forward. Pull them back. Now watch, at no time do you want to go like this. So the elbows are in. They don't have to be touching your sides. Sometimes we say that in yoga, but it's more just don't let them flare, because then your shoulders come up and your neck disappears. So try that twice more and just get it into the body through the mind, through the movement. Breathing in, straight. Breathing out, pull back, shoulders down. Breathing in, straight. Breathing out, shoulders down, elbows back. So that's your action in Chaturanga, and we're going to do it on our knees. Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limbed straight line. Spread your fingers. Bring head and shoulders forward. Arms are nicely stacked from shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrists. Really try and press inwards to the center of your mat through your thumb and index finger. Separating your knees a little, pulling your tummy in, no pelvic tilting, neutral spine. Do what you just did. Bend your elbows, don't go all the way down, and push back up to straight. Just the action you did on your knees. Bend and straighten. Press your toes down, the tops of your feet down. Straighten. One more. Bend and straighten. You can do 3 more on your knees, or you can try 1, 2, or 3 in full plank. Reach out the legs if you want to try, or stay on your knees. Absolutely up to you. Pulling your tummy, do not hollow your lower back any more than neutral. Squeeze your belly and bend and push the floor away, straighten. Bend, straighten. I'm putting my knees down for the last one. Bend and straighten. Stand up on your knees, come all the way up and interlace your hands behind you. Press your interlaced hands down beyond your tail. Breathe in, tuck in your chin and breathe out. Breathe in, expand your chest wall, and breathe out, try and lift your arms off of your spine. And then relax and then just give them a little shrug. One more similar one. A very, very often used routine from your Chaturanga is downward facing dog, plank, low plank, so Chaturanga Dandasana, into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And I am very fussy about you doing this so correctly that you'll never hurt your shoulders. If, and I'm sure most of you, most of my regulars will have heard me say this countless times, if you go downward facing dog, plank, and then your low plank looks a bit like this, you're going to damage your shoulders. And then through and pull them back. So don't go that low. Watch the more safe way to do this. Downward facing dog, navel to spine, full plank, low plank. Now stop there Then through onto the tops of your feet and lift your chest. Let's try that flow, and you can put your knees down when you come through to plank, that's absolutely fine. Spread the fingers. Find your plank distance, push your heels away, straighten your legs, hug your thigh muscles, pelvic floor lifted, up to downward facing dog. Here we go. Full plank, little pause. Bend the elbows, not the back. Pause. Pressing onto the tops of your feet, lift, and your knees can be down if you prefer. Roll through or tuck through your toes, push all the way back up, downward facing dog. Twice more, please. Plank, low plank, chaturanga, yes, and through. Lovely. I can see you all on screen. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Peter's there as well. Peter Hope, George Jansen, Professor George, welcome to class. Looking good, everyone. Nice. This is a strong move. When you've done 3 sets, you can either sit up on your knees again and shrug your shoulders, or take child's pose and rest your arms. So maybe folding your arms under your head. Hello, Cali Cat. Oh, hello, girl. Or tucking right in and letting your arms go down to your feet. So it's important to rest the shoulders after all the work that we've done there, but we're not quite finished with them, so a short rest. From here, we're moving into Makarasana, the dolphin. I had to have a little giggle after chatting online on Messenger with Lorraine about these postures. The next thing she sent me was a beautiful little video of the dolphins at the beach. And I was tempted to say, take a good look at those dolphins, because that's what you're going to look like on Saturday, the upwards out of the water and the back down again. Please come up onto your hands and knees. If you've never done dolphin before, watch how my leg position changes. But you don't have to change your leg position. There are 3 options in dolphin. The hands are interlaced this time. Option 1, work on mostly your shoulders. So come forward, chin towards the floor, back to neutral. This is 1. Watch number 2. Come forward, tuck my toes, and lift up like 4-arm dog. Forward and down, up and back. Or like a dolphin with your bottom in and out of the water, forward and back with your legs straight. Let's all start on our knees, and then you can gradually do what I did, or you stay on your knees. Interlace your hands, and it's really important that you try to bring your hands together so that this little finger edge, like a razor edge, is the part that's on the floor and not the back of your forearm. So don't roll out, okay? Close your hands and put them on your mat. Elbows are, if possible, slightly narrower than the width of your shoulders. Squeeze your hands, squeeze your belly, separate your knees a little. Here we go. Come forward, either with an inhale or an exhale, it doesn't matter, and then back to neutral with the opposite breath. Forward as far as you can, back to neutral. So if anyone wants to come with me, go forward, tuck your toes, and as you come back, lift your legs to straight. Forward and down, up with your knees to push back. Forward, go down with your knees. Lift your knees, lift your hips. Now, if you wish, keep your legs straight as you go forward and back. Keep going. And whichever one you've chosen to stay with, do 6 more breaths, forward and back. Be aware that sometimes when we straighten the legs, we don't actually go as far. So it can be better sometimes to stay on your knees to get more movement out of your shoulders. So play around with it. Oh, hello, Alcira. If I missed saying good morning to you, good morning. Excellent, everyone. Looking strong. And then when you've done those, again, take a little rest of your own preference, child's pose, or you can even sit and shrug your shoulders and relax. We're all coming to child's pose in a moment anyway. Throat's dry this morning. Alrighty. So that section was really all about warming up the arms and getting them ready for deeper work later on. And if you do those little exercises every other day, you will really improve your arm strength. Now, coming to your knees, mirror the back of your mat, leave plenty space in front. And then widen your knees as much as you can. Maybe your knees touch the edges of your mat, but your feet are together, big toes touching. And then press back and try to sit down for a moment. I know it might be tight for some. Just draw your tummy in, lift up your torso, and then bring your fingertips down in front and trying your best to keep your bottom and your heels close or in full connection. Walk your hands forward, but have your hands looking like cupcakes. So on the tips of your fingers and thumbs, walk your hands forward. Now walk them forward a little bit more and begin to feel the arms and the spine stretching and looking between your knees. See if you can get your head down. If your head's not on the floor and you don't like it hanging, you could quickly get yourself a block or a cushion to put your head on. Try and relax the spine and the legs and work your arms still. So we're moving into hips and inner thighs now. Feel the openness of the groin and hips, the stretch in your spine. Hasta Balasana. Hasta means your hands are extended forward in most poses. Hasta just basically means the hands. Bala is baby or child. Arms extended in child's pose. Two more breaths in your extended arms, child. And then from there, pressing your fingertips into the mat, raise your gaze, look forward, and then walk your hands all the way in. And bring the knees closer together. Walk forward and come down onto your forearms in a Sphinx position. Sphinx begins to really work into our heart opening and back bending. So while in Sphinx, it can be useful to really think about lightly lifting your pelvic floor tone. So Mula Bandha lift from within. Lifting the bottom ribs and hugging them into your torso can be very helpful for your lower back. And lightly pressing the chest forward and trying to keep your chin up. Find something to gaze at forward and eye level and try to keep that gaze. Try not to drop your head. Now in your Sphinx, take one leg, it doesn't matter which one, out to the side of your mat, bending the knee up to hip height. Your foot is on its big toe edge. And this is called the tipsy frog. And it helps us with hip openers and in particular frog pose. So you could call this half frog, but tipsy frog is a nice way of describing it. If it's too much being up in Sphinx for your lower back, you can equally fold your arms and bring your chin point down. Keep a hold of your tummy muscles and protect your lower back. This is often done in more like a yin style of class, and it would be held for maybe 3 minutes each leg. But we're just basically visiting it and feeling it, and then we'll change in a few breaths' time. Sphinx on its own is a very useful pose and helps to counterpose the actions of the day where we might be rounded in our spine. Try to keep looking forward. And then slide the leg that you've taken out to the side back to meet the other one. And pausing in the center, feel the effects on the side that you've just used. When you're ready, pull in your tummy stronger, draw in the bottom ribs, and take the opposite knee up to the side. Big toe edge of your foot on the floor, like a frog's leg. And remember, you can go down, fold your arms for your head to rest on. Tipsy frog, opposite side. Keep drawing in your base of your ribs, the bottom floating ribs into the body. So perhaps if you practice Sphinx at home, you could occasionally add in this hip opener if you feel your hips need a little bit more work, which most of us do need, just because of the habitual action of the hips and walking, sitting, running, cycling. So when we ask them to do some of the other things that we would like them to do, they feel a bit stuck. So this will help you. A couple more deep breaths. And then when that feels long enough, slide the leg down towards the other. And then bring your hands towards where your elbows were into a cobra pose. So shoulders back from the ears, tummy in, inhale and try to press the floor away and draw your shoulders down. And then exhale, lift up to your knees, tuck your toes into plank and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Bottom up in the air. Heels pressing back towards the end of your mat. Now look through at your feet and join them together. Touch your big toes together. Squeeze your knees together. Inhale, draw your tummy up. And exhale, bring your knees softly to the floor. Release your toes and press your bottom right back towards touching your heels. And then either fold your arms to rest your head, or take your hands back to your feet. And sometimes if you can cup your heels with your hands, you can pull your body back a little bit into a deeper child's pose. Bottom as close to the heels as you can and drop your head. Now really let your neck go, tuck in there as deeply as possible. So this is the more traditional balasana, child's pose. About 3 more breaths. While you're there, just remember I'm supposed to do a head count. Let me see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Fantastic. Now from your child's pose, reach your arms forward, breathing in, rise up into an all fours position. Breathe out and come up to standing in your own way or come with me. You can tuck your toes under, walk your hands towards your knees, press up with your knees onto a toe squat, and then hands onto the knees, heels down, and walk up your legs. So it really doesn't matter. Give everything a good shake out, shoulders, legs, etc. We're coming to the middle of the long side of our mat. So bring yourself centered. And if your hips don't feel that they started to open as much as you would like, they will now. Take a step to the right and an equal step to the left. Turn your toes out slightly and bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Palms touching, thumbs at the breastbone. Breathe in and draw up your pelvic floor. And then let it relax, let the muscle tone relax and bend your knees into a deep, wide squat. Now draw your pelvic floor up to rise up to straight legs. And relax the pelvic tone as you come down into a squat. 2 more. Inhale, pull everything up inside to straight legs. Exhale, bend your knees.
knees as deeply as you can. One more time. Pull up strongly, inhale, squeeze everything, and exhale, drop down. Now, staying down here, can you drop your hands? And if you can't touch the floor, you can quickly come out of the position and you can hold a block like this. Okay, so it's okay to come out. Once you've got your block, we're going to take it with us as we straighten the left leg and bend into the right. Slide your block towards your right or your fingertips if you don't have the block. If you can reach the floor, you don't need a block. And then come back up to straighten the legs momentarily. Bend the left, come towards your left heel with your block. Straighten your right leg. Good. Again, move over to the right. Now this time, can you look at your left foot and bring it onto its heel? You can also lift your right heel to go down deeper. It's safer on the Achilles anyway. Come back up momentarily towards straight legs. Move towards your left foot and look at your right foot. Lift the toes of your right and the heel of your left as you go down. Yes, we got it? I'm going to put the block to one side. You can continue to use it. And moving up with your hips and then out and lift the heel of the right. Look at your left, lift the toes. Swap. Switch. This is Skandasana. Look right. Move to the right and look left. If you have good balance and you're used to this pose, you can bring in the arm movement of Skandasana. As you move into a right bent leg and look left, you can draw your bow and arrow, right elbow back, left arm extended left. Come through center, look right, bow and arrow, left elbow back, right arm extended, be careful. Over to the right, Skanda the warrior. To the left. Looking good, everyone. Those that I can see on this tiny little boxes. And one more set to the right. Oh, strong. And pull your bow and arrow, left elbow back as you move to the left leg. And then come back to center. Fingertips down or on your block. And then straighten your legs, lift your hips and drop your head. Wide leg forward bend feels such a relief. And you might want to go wider with your heels here and down more with your head. Allow the head to hang heavy. Nice little breather. And then come all the way up onto your fingertips or block. You can take the block with you or simply turn everything, because staying on the spot, but pivot round onto your right short end of your mat. Right toes face the short end, but the left foot is probably up on its toes. Step your left foot a little out to the left, just a little bit, and then press your heel down. We're coming to pyramid, or Svanasana. Both legs are nice and straight. You might have a block or even two. You could have one either side of your right foot to begin with. Most of us begin pyramid almost too forward, like this. Maybe your left heel is hovering. Where really we want to press that left heel down, both legs straight, and actually have our blocks here in the middle of the pose. Then your fingers point back, and you drop down your upper body over your right leg. You can be here, you can have your hands on the mat, or as long as you feel balanced, draw up your pelvic floor tone and bring the arms behind your back, holding your elbows, or if your shoulders allow, reverse prayer hands. Hands in prayer, little finger edge between the shoulder blades. And drop your head. The tiniest little fraction of bend in your right knee will probably make you feel safer for your knee on the right. Press back through your left heel. Plant your right big toe. Pyramid. Breathe. Yes. That looks great. Let it happen. Dissolve into your pyramid. Very good. Nice, nice, nice. If your hands are behind your back, gently bring your fingertips down, maybe letting your front knee bend. And then pivot your feet all the way back to the long edge of your mat, little pause in the center. And then pivot so that your left foot points to the front left, the short end. Right heel might be up. Wiggle your right foot a little wider to the right and find the position where you can get the heel down. So there'll be a slight out turn in your right foot, but not too much. Again, you might be up on blocks, and that's absolutely fine. And if you're new to this pose, you might have your blocks near your left foot. But if possible, as you lift the tone of your left thigh and press back into your right heel, have your blocks more middle of the pose. Fingers pointing back, head down. Or hands down. Or arms behind the back, hold the opposite elbow or prayer hands. Really release the weight of your head. Find this balance between the 2 feet. And your pelvis is in the middle of the pose, right between the front foot and the back foot. So it's not all about your front leg. Again, the tiniest hint of a bend in your left knee, you'll feel safer. Roll into your left big toe and back to your right ankle. Press the right ankle bone back. Nice, everyone. A few more breaths. Equal the other side. And when you feel that's about the same or it's what you need, then bend your left knee, wiggle everything back to the center. And then this time, wiggle your heel toes into the middle. Bring your knees to a nice deep bend and root your feet down. Bring your hands to your thighs and rise. Give your shoulders a nice shrug. Maybe give it a little twist there, whatever feels good. And then come to standing in stillness. Spread your toes lots. Really feel your feet are securely on your mat. Nice and positioned, feeling safe and strong. We're going to take more weight into our right leg, but that doesn't mean that you kick your hip out to the side. So keep your frontal hip bones level. Maybe feel that if you take your fingertips like this, find your frontal hip bones. When we lift our left leg, our left hand shouldn't shoot up like this, okay? So keep your hips level. Bring your left knee up in front and re-level your hips if it's lifted. Swing the leg out to the side, just like Tipsy Frog. So again, this is standing strength and hip opening. Bring the left foot to the inner lower right leg. And if it's available to you without hitching up your left side, so keep it level, take your foot to the upper thigh, but you don't need to. And try not to hook your toes forward, point them down. And I should see more of your heel than I do of your toes. Now, from here, make sure you feel securely rooted. Drop your hands. Turn the palms to face in front of you. And with a lovely deep breath in, reach out and only up as far as you're happy to. They don't have to come all the way up. It's quite nice to keep them just above your shoulders, like big, wide span tree branches. Press your right inner thigh into your left foot, especially if your left foot is high. Vrikshasana. And sometimes it's a windy day and our tree moves, and you can deliberately move if you wish.
And just see if you can keep your balance on your right foot. Don't let the ball of the foot come up. Keep the big toe pressing down. And now bring your hands to your heart center in Anjali Mudra and your left foot on the earth. Bring the hands back to feeling the frontal hip points. And then swapping legs. Bring right knee up in front, no higher than your hip. Swing the leg to a hip opening shape. And bring right foot to lower leg. Can even be big toe on the floor, always remember. Or bring it up without tilting the pelvis off to one side. So realign your hip points. Ready? Press your foot into your thigh into your foot. Drop your hands and sweep the arms out and up to wherever it feels good for you. And spread your fingers, reach them out. And if you want to test your balance, you can deliberately sway your upper body. If it feels good, a little challenging, but at the same time you enjoy it, hopefully. Or you can stay in stillness. Very good. Relax your face, your forehead, your eyes, your mouth. And then bring your hands together to the heart center. Vrikshasana and release to Tadasana. With both feet on the floor, drop your hands. Relax and shrug your shoulders. Release. Just be there, feeling the effects. And we're actually coming to the floor now, and this is where I'm going to talk to you while you're in your bridge pose about how we tilt the pelvis. Very much like cow-cat, that's why I often start with cow-cat. We want that same hollowing of the lower back where the bum sticks out, and then tucking your tail under to a flatter lower back. So I'd like you to come onto your back now, please. And take a yoga block, or whatever you use that's like a yoga block, between your thighs, but not your knees. So as you sit down and ground your feet, place the block so you're looking at the short end of it, right between your thighs, and then lie down and pull your heels towards your bottom. Squeeze your block. Stay there. In our bridge pose, it's really important not to force your lower back into the floor. So you want to try and find your neutral spine. Your lower back might be touching the floor, but also there might be a little space, and that's your neutral. As long as you are working your core muscles to stay safe. I would like you to tilt a little bit to make a bigger space under your lower back. So pressing the frontal hip bones towards your knees. Allow your lower back to make a small lift away from the floor. Keeping that small lift, nothing stressful, just a small lift of lower back from floor. Now draw an imaginary drawstring around your waist and tighten it. When you exhale, tighten it even more. So navel to spine, frontal hip bones come closer together, squeeze your tummy. Now really squeeze your block. And what you might find now is that that hollow of your lower back has relaxed a little, and that's good. Let it relax. So we deliberately hollow our lower back, lifting it away from the floor. Then we squeeze our waist, and then we squeeze our block. And this brings you to neutral. So keep everything squeezing. Keep it squeezing. This is a really important thing to learn. Don't force your back down. Find your neutral, and then find the difference between the tilt and the tuck. The tilt and a tuck. In a forward bend, the pelvis moves through the anterior twist. So your hollow space, your bum sticking out, to a posterior tilt, the tailbone tucking under, just like cow-cat. Are you still squeezing? Maintaining neutral.
Now begin to think about your big toes pressing down, the whole feet spreading. Push your knees a little forward, maintain the neutral spine, maintain the squeeze of your block and your waist, and lift your bottom off the floor. Head and shoulders pressing down, bottom lifts up, and then keep lifting. Keep your knees moving in a forward direction. Lift your glutes. So now you've got them to squeeze as well, just until you get up there. You have a neutral spine. Your inner thighs are squeezing. Your waist muscles are squeezing in that imaginary drawstring. Now try and relax your glutes a little. Don't fall down. And work into your upper body. Up with your chest, down with your shoulders. Keep squeezing your block to maintain neutral. Keep lifting. Do not tuck your tail under. Keep your navel to your spine. 2 more breaths up in your bridge with a neutral spine. And after those 2 breaths, don't crash down. Bring yourself out of your bridge slowly. Relax. Grab your block, put it away, take it to one side. And then roll over to one side and come up to sitting. So all those actions happen in a standing forward bend or a seated forward bend, although it's more difficult to, well, I can do it because I've got a very hollow back, but you stick your bum out, anterior tilt, you tuck your tail in, posterior tilt. So if you were in a seated forward bend, you're trying to do cow pose, and then at the end, cat pose. It's easier to do standing. Have a wee look before you come up. Neutral spine, yes, neutral, although my back is very hollow. Neutral spine, some of you might be flatter here, but you don't do anything. You neither tuck nor you push out. On your way into the forward bend, you come into that tailbone out. Anterior tuck, pelvis is moving forward, and you're here. At the end, when you bring your hands down, you come into a tail tucking action to get closer to your legs. That makes sense? So one more time, neutral, tuck, or tilt is probably better, sorry, tilt. And then when you're all the way down, a little tuck. Female pelvis, male pelvis. So if you're like this, you've got a bit of work to do, more bend in your knees, stick out your bum. Yeah? Let's try it. Up you come. Tilt to fold. A tilt before a tuck. Never pull your tailbone between your legs. Never. It's not good for you. Here we go. Feet can be big toes touching, gap at the heels, or my preference, feet are apart, directly under the sockets of your hips. Find neutral. And when I say neutral, it doesn't mean that everything's relaxed. You still have your light mula bandha, the internal lift of your pelvic floor, and the navel is drawn in slightly, finding your neutral. Breathe in and raise your arms up. Put a little bend in your knees. And as you breathe out, push out your bottom behind you, hollow your lower back, like chair pose, yeah? Now really emphasize sticking your bum out. Stick it out behind you. Come more forward, keep sticking your bum out, keep bending your knees. And then bring your hands lightly, wherever they reach, down below your knees. Fold your belly onto your thighs. Take a hold of your ankles if possible. Now allow whatever happens to happen. Maybe the tailbone starts to come a bit more between your legs. So it's more of the posterior now. Drop your head, relax. Inhale, come halfway up, hands on your shins. Stay here, exhale. Push out your bottom, hollow your lower back and climb on up your legs and find your neutral. I hope that's all making sense, yes? Tilt, tuck, but don't overly tuck. One more time. Neutral, arms up, inhale. Little bend in your knees. Exhale, stick out your bottom, tilt your pelvis, pause. Can you find that tilt? Can you really stick out your bottom? This is exaggerating. It'll start to happen naturally without you having to think about it. Fall down to your thighs. Take hold of your ankles or wherever you can reach. Now allow your bottom to lift. And now your tailbone is a little bit more neutral towards tucking between your legs. Your base of your spine feels really stretched. You can keep your knees bent. Breathe. And then hands on the thighs, stick out your bottom as you halfway rise and come to neutral as you lift up. Practice your cow-cat, practice your bridge pose with a neutral spine and your block between your thighs, and then this will feel easier. Now, we're building up to our final, big pose, and it is Svarga. I have to look when I pronounce this. Svarga Vijasana. It's DV, but it's pronounced Dv. Svarga Vijasana. Svarga means paradise. Vij means twice born. So we are born physically from our mother, and then we're born again spiritually as we follow our yoga path. It also means bird of paradise. We're going to try it from standing like this. Feet not as wide leg forward bend, but neither are they together. If you were facing your short end, it would be about the width of your mat. I'm going to stay facing this way. So it's a forward bend again to begin. Breathing in, sweep your arms up. Breathing out, bend your knees a little, stick out your bottom, tilt the pelvis, yes. Reach forward and bring your fingertips to the floor if they reach. Now, lift your right heel off the floor, really lift it up. And tucking your right arm as close to getting your shoulder under your right leg as possible, hold. And then try to bring your hand around your right ankle and bring the heel back down. That's your little practice. Release, unwind your arm and push on up gently to standing. Ooh. If that's difficult, don't worry about it. There will be an option for the final pose. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, tilt your pelvis, bend your knees. Bring your arms forward till the fingertips are down on a block or on the floor. Raise your left heel and bring in your shoulder, your left shoulder close to your inner left knee. Try and tuck it almost under as you wind your hand around your left ankle and then press the heel down if possible. Just holding, all you're doing is hugging your left leg. And then slowly unwind your hand. Look forward, hands to the knees, and rise. So we'll try and take that a stage further. Let me check which one I was going to do first. Yes, okay. So this time, maybe I should turn my back so you can see where this is going. I'm coming down, I'm lifting my right heel, I'm trying to get my right shoulder as close to being under as possible. And then this time the left arm is coming behind to bind. Yeah, so that's our next stage. We would then slide the bound leg, your right leg, closer to your left leg and try to come up. I'm showing you this first so I can then give you the option. Option would be to have a strap in your hand, so maybe here you have this amount of space, or to not bind at all, and when you go down you can try this bit, and then you can say, nah, not today, thank you very much, Karina, and you can come up and you can hold maybe under your knee like this. Alrighty, let's do it together, everyone. Whew. There's a lot of content in this week's class. I hope you're enjoying it. Take a deep breath in, raise your arms. With a little bend in your knees, stick your bum out. There's no nicer way. Well, there probably is a nicer way to say it, but I'm going to stick with sticking your bum out. And then reach forward, fingertips to floor or block. Raise your right heel. Bring your right shoulder close to it. You can have a strap in your right hand now. And take the strap or your arm under your knee. You can keep your heel up and bring your left arm around to hold the strap, your fingers, or your right wrist with your left hand. Take your time now. Suck in your tummy. And slide right foot towards left foot. Pause. Slowness is the key. No rush. Slowly start to lift up onto standing on your left leg. Bringing your right leg up with you until you're straight. Once you're here, open your shoulders back towards the back wall, your chest towards the front wall. Press your right arm firmly into your right inner thigh to open your right thigh more out to the right. I'm wobbling. Press it open and then just maybe point your toes to the floor, right toes. Point them out to the side and lengthen the right leg up. Shvarga Vijayasana, bird of paradise. Smile, bend your knee, let go. Woohoo, shake your shoulders, relax. Release, release, release. I want to plant some bird of paradise flowers outside the yoga studio so I can see them when I'm doing that pose to get sort of inspiration. You know the flower, right? You know the bird of paradise, that big orange flower. Looks just like you all looked right there. Are you ready? Feet wide, arms up, inhale. Bend your knees, push out your bottom behind you, fold forward. Bring up your left heel. Bring left shoulder close to left knee and then sweep your arm around to hold your ankle for a moment. And take your right arm forward and around and then bring right fingers or onto the strap or to hold hands or right hand to left wrist. Move your weight to your right leg. Slowly slide left foot towards right. Take your time. Engage your core, look forward. Come up slowly, 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 slowly. Now don't rush to straighten. You can stay here, point your toes to the floor. Open your chest, push back your shoulders. Really use your left arm to press into the left inner thigh, make more space. Big breath in, maybe straighten the leg. Whoa, breathe, smile, hold, keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing, keep smiling. Yay, looking good, everyone. You've got to stay there till I see you all. Nice, whether you're holding the knee, whether you've got full bird of paradise, whatever you're doing it. Wonderful, and release and relax. And if you want to flop over, please do. Just let yourself go. In that pose, your arms should be decorative, not a hauling machine. You're not using your arms to haul your leg up. They're simply there. Let me do a time check. Good. And then slowly rise from your forward fold and relax. There's so many components of that, and perhaps if you've tried it before, it was slightly closer to getting it today because we'd already worked a lot in our shoulders, our core, our hips, and our legs. So by doing things like your tree pose, etc., you'll improve your balance. You need tons of patience. You really need to not go like, I can't do this, and then lose heart. You need to be patient for your body to be that open and strong enough to get the final shape. But it doesn't matter. Like I say, if you were here, that's a great bird of paradise. You don't buy the bulb of the flower, plant it into the ground, and then the next day it's a full bird of paradise. It takes time to blossom. You need to nurture it. You need to have patience as a gardener with your own body. Let's come down to our mat, please, on all fours. Moving all props out your way so they don't get in your way. And spread your fingers. Bring your knees wide like we did before and push your hips back. Reach your arms forward. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, come back up with the wide knees. Exhale, bring your forearms down. Keeping your tummy tight, try not to let your lower back hollow here. So suck in your tummy and gaze forward at the front short end of your mat. Spread your fingers and roll inwards towards your thumb edge. Breathing in, turn out the legs like the tipsy frog that we practiced earlier. And breathing out, maybe move your knees a fraction wider. If you're going to go so wide that your knees come off your mat, I would suggest that you have a blanket or something across your mat, because if your knees go down onto a hard floor, it could really hurt. So if you need to come up for a moment because you want to go wider, then please do. If this is enough for you, this is where you stay. This can be your frog pose today. There's a couple of different Sanskrit names for frog, and I'm going to use Beka, Bekasana, B-H-E-K, Bek, Bekasana, frog pose. So this is frog, or pulling in your tummy lots. You can go forward a bit more with your forearms. Start to drop your chest down towards the floor, wider with your knees. You can also point your toes back in if you prefer, or you can keep your toes pointing out, big toe side. You can now fold your forearms, one on top of the other, and drop your head and your chest. Or keep your arms outstretched and drop your chin or your forehead. Keep your tummy muscles strong. Frog. Remember, you can stay much more upright on all fours. Nice. So if you imagine doing full frog when you're not thoroughly warmed up, it really wouldn't be so good. So you're all looking, you've got a good distance there. Groin and hips working well for you. Lovely. You can try maybe going a little bit flatter down onto your chest if your legs are allowing you, but keeping your bottom above your knees though. You can keep your bum back above your knees. You must protect your knees though, so be careful. Maybe 5 more breaths, and if you've had enough, you can come out, you can go to down dog, do whatever you like. After your 5 deep breaths, the first thing I would move would be my feet. And bring your big toes to touch, keeping the knees wide. Big toes touch. Then really hugging your navel to your spine, push up onto your hands. Sit right back again if you can, bottom to the heels. And then from there, bring the knees together. Yes? And just sit for a moment, squeezing your inner thighs together. And then come over onto your bottom. Well done. We're nearly finished. And sitting onto your bottom, bring your feet to the mat in front of you. And join the feet together, the knees together. You can press your thighs together. And then keeping them together, lean back into your hands. Roll over to one side and then the other, trying to keep your thighs together. Squeeze. You may have a little awareness of your shoulders and hips over the next 48 hours. You're welcome. Couple more rocking side to side. Last time. And release. Extend your left leg forward and bring your right leg across. Pull your right heel as close to you as possible while still keeping it flat. And draw the inner thigh towards your torso. If you want to, pop your right hand down for a moment, lift your right buttock, and swing your left foot to the right. But you don't have to do that. You can keep your left leg straight. Hugging this leg in nice and tightly, ground your bottom. Breathing in, reach out. Breathing out, the right hand is either going to go to the floor behind you or it's going to go around your waist. You can see my fingertips here on my left side of my waist. And then the left arm can hug the leg or bring it around to the outside. Turn to your right, pivoting around your spine. Draw your left shoulder forward and your right shoulder back. You can keep pressing your right hand into the floor if you feel your back is rounding. You can bring the left hand under your right knee like this, and then catch your right wrist behind you. Rotate right a bit stronger. Look right so your neck is involved. Ardha Matsyendrasana, half lord of the fishes. He was half man, half fish. The first yoga teacher after Shiva, the first disciple. As you release, try not to collapse your spine. So stay tall and come back center. Stretch out your right and bend your, stretch out your left and bend your right. No, it was right the first time. Stretch out your right and bend the left. Hug it towards you and cross it over. Hold it there nice and firmly, lift up through the crown of your head. You can also bring your right foot, as you lift your left buttock maybe for more space, bring it in and sit back down. Lengthen up strong. Breathing in, sweep the arms up. I like to do this so you can see if you have stability. Lift your chin, open your chest. Bring the left arm either on the floor behind your left hip or around your waist. And with the right arm, hug the left leg or bring it across. As you start to rotate, try and keep the crossed left leg really close to you. And then maybe bind. Right hand under the right knee, catches left hand, and rotate. Revolve your head, turning around the axis of your spine at the neck. And keep your legs grounded, feet and knees, bottom. Two more breaths. And as you come back to center, stay long and strong in your spine and release. Stretch out your legs. We're going to lie down. It's time for meditation, relaxation. So if you want a blanket draped over you, if you want any support under your knees or your head, please do. Take a moment to get comfortable and warm. And well done. You can lie on your side, you can sit on a chair, but wherever you are, feel grounded and relaxed. In your quiet space, release your body and focus your awareness on how you're breathing. Natural breath. Settle body and mind into a deeper focus, ready to engage in meditation. You've worked hard with your body, now working on the mind to bring it more peace. Think now that you are meditating, not just for your own individual benefit, but you're taking this time to be quiet, to meditate, so that you can develop your mind to become a wiser and kinder person, able to be of benefit to all beings. Allow your mind to be attentive, observing whatever comes to notice, regardless of what it is. Do not identify with the elements that are arising. Simply observe them like a tourist to your own mind. Let the thoughts pass without getting involved. Simply be aware. Imagine your experience, your consciousness, as being like the sky, completely clear, vast, spacious, without end. Calm, clear, spacious awareness. The mind can be likened to an ocean, and the thoughts to the fish swimming through the ocean. Normally, we're unaware of the nature of the mind, and instead observe only the fish-like thoughts. It's as though we're observing an aquarium through a large glass wall, and at first we only notice the fish. If someone was to tell us to observe the clear water in which the fish were swimming, we might at first have difficulty noticing it because of its transparency. By simply realizing that the fish could not be swimming unless there was some substance to swim in, we can then take our attention away from the fish and focus on the water. In a similar way, let go of paying attention to our fish-like thoughts and instead step back and recognize the clear, light nature of the mind, within which all our thoughts and other mental events occur. Identify with our mind like an ocean, clear spaciousness. In our day-to-day state of mind, as we go about our business, having conversations, planning, thinking, worrying, making lists, etc., it's as if we are living on the surface of the ocean, and all the thoughts and feelings and ideas fill the mind, making waves, turbulence, agitation. But as we identify more and more with our ocean-like mind and let go of the wave-like emotions and fish-like thoughts, it's as if we start to descend to the quiet depths of that ocean-like mind. A mind that's more peaceful, still, and free of agitation. It's like we still continue to see the fish swimming in the aquarium as we focus on the water. However, we focus our awareness on the clear light nature of the mind. Our thoughts will begin to diminish, thereby quieting the mind. Observe thoughts and feelings arising now, without getting involved in them. Do not have a conversation with your thoughts. Let them go and be in the clarity, the clear, peaceful, open space, without agitation, without anxiety and distress, without dissatisfaction, attachments and aversions. Simply be.
If you can live like this and have more space, you'll have more peace in your life. And you can then bring more peace and well-being to others in every moment of every day. Om Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandhu Shasaka Twameva Twameva Vija Dravanam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandhu Shasaka Twameva Twameva Vija Dravinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti 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 Om. If you find meditation really difficult, to ignore the fishy thoughts and stay with the spaciousness of the water, then put a mantra in your mind instead. Sing, chant, and be happy. Ignore the worrying, the anxiety, let it dissipate, and sing. Yogis, our time together on the mat for now is coming to an end. And as always, you can stay on your mat in your Shavasana and simply relax, relax, relax. Or maybe you would like to come up to say goodbye. So you can wiggle the extremities, the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. You can hug the knees in or rock to one side. And once you're on one side, just a little pause and feel how everything has affected you in the past 90 minutes. And then without force, gently rise to sitting comfortably, if you wish. And if you've come up, you bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Hands together, thumbs on breastbone, head slightly bowed. And with the understanding that the light that shines from your heart is the same light that shines from every living being's heart center, we bow to each and every one of us to all living beings everywhere on land and sky and sea. And in that acknowledgement of their inner light and yours, namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming along and allowing me to guide you. It was so nice to have so many of you here. Any quick questions, feel free to ask. And always remember to send in your requests. Lovely to see you, George. Lovely to see each and every one of you, your smiling faces. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you all soon. Lots of love.
Karina.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.